And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport here on a Monday, a post-Masters Monday.
Right,
I see Yerny in the building, so he might have to dip out for the first 20 and come back.
Oh.
No, I want him here.
Yeah, I do.
Knowing Ernie with the golf, he just can't. What do you think he's more likely to latch onto, the golf or the hockey? Probably the hockey almost, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, right? I mean, hockey's watchable. We can go to the games. Obviously, I don't think we can get Ernie to a tournament, golf tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like maybe just Ernie needs to get on the course, though.
Yeah, exactly. Ernie, let's come on. Put the bowling ball down. We can get you out in the course. And Josh should be able to convince him, too. I mean,
right, yeah. Josh
is a fellow big bowler, but he likes golf as well.
Yeah, dude. Maybe Kev Dew?
Kev Dew? I mean, if Kev Dew is out on the golf course, that's how you know that, you can get out there.
Oh, yeah, dude. Have a good time.
But kind of, what we were talking about pre-show. What a weekend! What a Masters tournament! The 89th edition of the Masters tournament at Augusta National, and Rory McIlroy becoming the 6th golfer to complete the career Grand Slam. To Michael Bunka's pleasure, Jim Nantz on the call. Almost jinxing it a couple times. But at the end of the day, it was Scotty putting the green jacket on Rory. What a day, Tony.
What a tournament, dude. And obviously, yes, the Sunday was amazing. But I mean, just as a tournament as a whole, too, you really can't draw it up any better, dude, in terms of just the level of play, even just the weather. I mean, the course was beautiful.
After what we had to deal with last
year, the wind,
yes.
obviously,
the
rain, not great.
Yeah.
But obviously, the patrons were out there in full, dude. It was great to see, and more riled than ever. So I think the atmosphere was there, especially, again, coming into Sunday. I know Bryson ended up kind of shitting the bed there, but having that storyline going into Sunday, a rematch of the U.S. Open here, 2 guys, obviously. Also, I feel like even because of the statures of these 2 players and their history, even the Live Tour versus PGA was even on the back burner a little bit, but that was still a storyline. So it was, so many different reasons to watch the Masters. And I mean, I think every player really showed up, and we got, and like you said it before the show, probably the best Masters ever. I've ever seen.
I mean, just the fact that it was so down to the wire, so that, you didn't know what would happen. And then for the first time in 8 years, we have a playoff, and just everything leading up to it, everybody that was in contention, and with 3 or 4 holes to go, I mean, you had 5 or 6 people who could have, won the Masters. Just the back and forth, the fact that, you had Justin Rose, come out guns a-blazing on Thursday with that 65. He manages a 1 under round par, under par round on Friday to go into, the weekend as the leader. But then unfortunately for him, going 3 over, on Saturday kind of sent him back a little bit. But the fact that he bounced back, fired a 66 yesterday, and what was a putt away on 17 and that first playoff hole from possibly winning the Masters. And what a performance by the 44-year-old Englishman. Back-to-back majors. He's the runner-up, and you don't usually see that when golfers are 44 years old.
No, you don't, dude. And I mean, obviously, you can't forget this is the second time he's being beat at the Masters during a playoff, which is obviously tough. But you mentioned that stretch he had, dude. Last 12 holes, he birdied 8 of them.
Yeah, I mean making putts all over the place.
Literally unreal. And he spoke about it, post-tournament. He just said that he was in that mental state that golfers just live for, where they just feel like every swing feels great, and there's just all the confidence in the world of where you're putting the ball. And yes, he does go into his last putt, or on 17, where he's like, "Oh, here's the crowd."
I mean, what do you think
ahead,
that was like,
dude?
8 feet?
It was
putt?
within 10, right?
Yeah. What was the putt he made on 18? I mean,
oh my god,
18 feet,
yeah,
20
at
feet.
Least.
Yeah.
And it was tough, dude. He's, he kind of went into more of like what he was thinking, and it did seem like he kind of lost focus because again, he was saying how he heard the crowd on 18 like all go and he kind of thought like, oh, like maybe like Rory either like made a huge putt or maybe missed it, but I need to make this putt if I want to stay in it. And I think maybe that was what maybe riled him a little bit mentally, and obviously he missed the putt there, which, listen, I mean, we saw golfers all weekend long miss easy putts in big spots, in any spot, really. I mean, the greens are, talk about ferocious, Brian.
Yeah, the speeds, Rory earlier, in the tournament, chipping in the water. And speaking to that, and, we were talking about before the show as well. I mean, there wasn't one golfer, who was in control this entire tournament. And I think that's what opened things up, for Rory to win. Because, I was shocked by the play of Bryson DeChambeau, and you combine what he did with what Rory did in the last round. I mean, as a twosome, they were 4 over par. I mean, who would have seen that coming? So Bryson, if he had just shot, 1 under, he would have been in that playoff. If he shot 2 under, he would have won the Masters. And I just didn't see that coming from Bryson. So confident, rolling the ball so well on the greens all weekend. But just was not able to put it together at the end. But I think that speaks to the difficulty, of Augusta National. I mean, you're just, sure, there are certain exceptions. You think of, Dustin Johnson winning at 20 under back in 2020. And then Tiger back in the day, dominating, winning by 10 strokes. But that typically doesn't happen. You're going to have your struggles. And I just think it was amazing to see how many times, Rory bounced back. He became, the first golfer ever to win at Augusta National with 4 double bogeys on the week, including 2 in the final round. So you think about that. You think about the ball in the water on 13, going conservatively on the par 5.
Idiotic.
I mean, I had never seen, I know it's happened, but just especially in that type of scenario when you're leading a tournament, hitting a ball short, like with a wedge under 100 yards. Like it's not like it hit the end and then rolled in.
No,
just
it plopped right in, dude.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, no, I was thinking Greg Norman, honestly. Yeah. Like I was getting that type of like blow up spot. And it's so funny because of course they're talking about, oh wow, like, Rory let up on his second shot to put himself in a position so he doesn't have to worry about the water.
Right.
And then he just chunked, and everyone was like, what the, like, oh my gosh, dude. It did kind of seem like for a little bit like like he could potentially lose it, especially with Rose gaining the ground. But like you said, I mean, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. I mean, he still ended up. I mean, some of his shots out of the bunker were absolutely ridiculous, dude.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah, the bunker shots were unbelievable.
Oh my god.
And you thought, after on 18 when he does hit it in the bunker again, and it was funny, and I know Michael Bucket probably jumping out of his seat, but with the Nance jinx, he's talking about. Only money left for the week for 1 bucket of balls at the driving range. And then he hits it right in the bunker.
Yeah.
And then how they're talking about it too. Like, oh, well, normally, I mean, we expect him to be automatic out of the bunker, putt it in, par, done.
Right.
And the putt's within 10 feet. I forgot exactly how much it was. But the fact that he missed that and bounced back, I thought once he missed that he was just going to be, I thought he was going to be in the woods off the tee on the playoff hole.
Oh.
But the fact that, he striped it off the tee on the playoff and then had that approach shot. Some of the approach, I think about the approach on 18, but then in during the 4th round before the playoff, the approach on 17 when he's like running up to the green, that was ridiculous. So I think that was the thing. Like we saw the reasons why Rory hadn't won in over 10 years during a major championship. But then we also saw, what makes him such an outstanding golfer, the skill that he has.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. I think that overshadows it for me because, he did have a bunch of, mess ups. You think about the double bogey on 1, the chip on 13, the putt on 18. But the fact that he was able to get through all of that and, and to get over the fact that he was, 4, under par and then he ends up going even par on Thursday. I mean, those are a lot of things to overcome for somebody who we all kind of thought, was mentally weak. So I think he really proved himself that he is one of the best golfers, of all time. And it was the first time in 25 years, we had seen a golfer, obtain that career Grand Slam. So joining the group of 5, that's Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Gary Player, Ben Hogan, and Gene Sarazen. So be able to do that, to become only the third golfer, second golfer only to win the Masters and the Players in the same year, joining Scotty, and then also the third golfer ever, Tiger, Jack, and now Rory, to win the Grand Slam and the Players Championship. So a lot of accomplishments, and I mean, they all line up to Rory being a Hall of Fame golfer and one of the best of all time.
Is he the first one who's not American?
Not American
to complete
the
the
Grand Slam. Gary Player is from,
Gary Player,
is it, I think, South Africa?
Sounds about right.
So yeah, but first European.
First European.
That's probably what you were thinking. But yeah, just a lot of history. And then it was interesting too. It was like Jack, Tiger, and Rory all winning on the same day, like the April 13th day. So that kind of lined up. And the fact that, it was within maybe 10 to 20 days in terms of the gap that Tiger had at the U.S. Open winning 08 to the Masters winning 09, from Rory winning the PGA in 14 till now. So there were just so many parallels.
The parallels,
it was just unbelievable. I mean, he even said in his, post, Masters press conference that at certain points, I mean, he ever doubted if he would be ever able to do it again. I mean, you think about all these close calls, and then to have what happened on Friday happen, or not Friday, but Sunday, and still bounce back. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And like you said, I mean, it was one of the best Masters we've ever seen.
How about even just opening up, your final round with a double bogey?
Yeah, because it's like, how do you not already?
Oh my God,
the lead on 3.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, dude? Do you think that if Bryson did play better and
it's
for most of the round, like Rory's down by a stroke, like, do you think it is completely different?
Yeah, it's definitely different. But I think, you could look at it and say, oh, well, the other guys kind of helped him out. But it's just, I think when anybody wins any golf tournament, of course it's going to be the perfect story.
Oh, yeah,
Other
of course.
Than, sure,
you
just shoot 65 every round. But how many times does that actually happen?
Yeah, never.
It matters how the other golfers do.
I mean, imagine if, if Bryson is humming and then the crowd's rooting for him instead of Rory at that point. I mean, he'd have to deal with that much pressure, I guess, from, his partner on Sunday, dude, which is pretty wild to think about. And it was nuts too. I mean, I don't know what Bryson obviously just fudged it, but they were talking about it. Jim Nantz was saying on the 9th hole, I think, because Rory birdied 9.
Yep.
And he was literally talking about how there's so many champions who come in here on Sunday and birdie on 9. And then here comes Bryson. He misses an easy putt for par. It pars the hole. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude. He was just so far out of it by then. Then he was just clamoring for good shots. And then it's it, dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it's unbelievable. And there is more I want to get to, but I guess we do have a ton of comments, Tony, if you want to get to those.
Yes, we have a ton here. Michael Buchter Irwin often says, Rory, what a bounce back from that choke on hole 18 at Augusta. Absolutely. Jim was on the call for their historic career Grand Slam. I'm sure Michael was hyped for Jim on the call. And let's just sift through some of these here.
And also, easy on Nance. Yes, he's a legend, Michael, but enough. We've heard it. Okay?
Absolutely, dude. And then he's hyped for Lakers T-Wolves. First round, he says also there are going to be some major problems for the Timberwolves. People are saying Lakers for the championship.
I mean, people are hyped, but I don't think it's, maybe it seems easier than it should be just because the Timberwolves maybe had a little bit of a disappointing season, but there's talent, obviously, with Anthony Edwards. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. But I have to say, sorry, Michael, but I'm more pumped for the PGA Championship next month at Quail Hollow than I am for the NBA playoffs. I mean, that's a fact.
That is a fact, dude. And speaking of facts, Josh B says, yo, fam, what a weekend. Masters was a great watch. Hashtag CCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV. Ernie, if you're still here, he says, You think he's still here?
I think he's still here.
I think he is still.
Also, it was ironic. Josh B and JD almost, texting me simultaneously about Rory choking, and we all agreed we thought he was going to blow it in the playoff, but he didn't. But it was just kind of funny. They both texted me at the exact same time.
Josh B with the yearning call. My mother says, hi, fellas.
Good morning.
Good morning. Josh B says, love golf, itching to go again this season,
yes, dude. Absolutely, Josh B.
And then Michael Buck says, Yurny and I had some contact late last night, dude. Riley, hype for Rory, says, my beautiful boy did it, dude.
It's like Nance said it.
And then Ernie wants to know if Top Golf will count as an outing for golf.
I mean, for Ernie, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I guess so. And then there we go, dude. Yeah, Matthew Ryan, greatest weekend of sports. Masters, Rangers eliminated. Chef's kiss, he says. And then let's see. Yeah. Ernie says, watch the Rangers slander. Sir with 2 first names. This is Matthew Ryan. Donna in the house says, good morning, all.
Good morning, Donna.
Okay. And then Ernie says, Donna, if you're ever in an accident, always call Fender Bender.
Donna Fender. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty good. And then Carlton here, quoting Jim Nance, Rory can look back on what he's accomplished if he finishes it out as he's walking the 18th green. And then let's see, Matthew Ryan hyped about the Rangers. Yep, eliminated, obviously. Ernie says Jafar Bukta.
What does that mean?
Like Jafar, he's a character in Aladdin.
Oh, Aladdin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess Michael Buck is saying Luka better than AD, obviously. Barnes, you just ripped my heart out, he says, dude.
Now, I think there's a couple of things. I don't know. At first, he was talking about, that the Wolves, present somewhat of a task for the Lakers, with Edwards. But also, I feel like there's something that Michael Buck is forgetting about. And I understand, believe me, I've said it many times. And you remember me last year, consistently bringing up, but it's so long till those first tee shots at Augusta National. Yes, there is only one Augusta National. There is only one Masters tournament. But Michael Buck is forgetting that at the PGA Championship, Jim Nance is going to be on the call.
Really?
Yeah, because CBS has the coverage of.
Oh, it's CBS. Champions. That's right.
So,
dude.
I mean, what are we talking about here, Michael? I think he will reconsider.
Hopefully, dude. Hopefully he does. My mother happy for Rory that he won. My mother's always been a Rory fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is it's fine. I mean, I'm happy he won too. I am. And then Donnelly says, my family has been called Fender Bender forever. I could see that. And then Michael Buckter, here you go, Brian. Oh, Jim, he says, when is the PGA Championship? He wants to know.
It's on May 15th at Quail Hollow in North Carolina.
Bang.
For some reason, I'm forgetting. I kind of want to look this up. Where exactly in North Carolina that is?
Quail Hollow?
Yeah. Charlotte.
There you go.
Never been to Charlotte, but I always wanted to check it out.
Yeah, me neither, dude. I'm always down to go to Carolina.
And then Matthew Ryan says, I can't
call. He just called while you were talking, and that's why I didn't answer, but you were talking. But
Gotcha.
I mean, we can take. You want to take the call? It's going to go to the Rangers, though. He's going to call. No, he's not going to. We have to tell him to call again, but he's going to go to Rangers talk. And it's just
that's why we
Monday
cap.
Morning, and it's just like exactly why we cap these
Good
things,
morning,
dude.
Renee.
Oh, thank you, Renee.
I had my donut in kick recently.
Really?
I had it this morning. In the hot coffee too.
Wow.
Interestingly enough, I think because today is different, it's a little warmer day. But on the colder days, it's been kind of nice to have the hot.
Yeah.
I've been going with the Simply Nutty with the cream.
Oh, that's
definitely
nice.
better. The almond milk, I don't know, too watery, something.
You know what? Sometimes I do get that where almond milk does make it a little like kind of watered down.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, whatever you would get me, I would drink. I wouldn't be like, oh my god.
But we do have the Matthew Cumberland Farms.
Well, yeah, listen,
and you have to have sugar,
dude. The Cumbies,
the Cumberland Farms.
It's all right.
The iced coffee?
It's all right. I mean, it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Give me a quick iced coffee. Donut is closed.
Done. 4 o'clock.
Dunkin' Donuts sucks.
Dunkin' Donuts sucks. Can't do that, dude. Thank you, Renee.
Thanks, Renee.
Also, last time I had Tiffany's, Mike and I, it was horrible. Matthew Ryan, you're live on the line.
60
60 seconds, Matthew.
Disappointed in Scotty's loss. I really thought he was going to play better.
I mean, how about Bryson though? Bryson was in position.
Yes, but I mean, I was disappointed in Scotty as well. Again, like
disappointed in another top 5 major finish. But Obviously,
Listen,
expectations have been
come
raised
on.
after
Yes, of
winning
course.
9
Obviously,
times
dude.
last year.
I mean, people wanted him to win this year, the
Yeah.
Masters, you know?
Would have been 3 or
Give
4 years,
himself
first time
the
to
green
do it.
jacket, dude.
You're the reigning champion, and you can't even make like the top like 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you're one shot back though of the top 3. Also, 3 shots.
But he could
overall.
he had plenty of opportunity. Like even on the front 9, he parred back. I think it was 4 and 5 where he missed like relatively, I'm using quotes, easy birdie putts, and then you par both of those, and then it's like you know, there were moments for Scotty to make that run even on Sunday, not even the entire weekend, and it would have been for me. Like I would have liked to have seen Scotty in the mix here.
And my also opinion about Bryson is that that was awful round.
3 over par.
Not good at all. 75.
Yeah.
Also,
I meant.
Oh, go ahead,
for all
Matthew.
that cocky attitude he had.
I was just gonna say that. Did you see the like the interview after round 3 where Rory is talking? Rory has interviewed first. I'm gonna have like a nice low key night. Stay off my phone. Like I don't want to deal with any of that noise. Maybe watch some Bridgerton. Go to bed early. Bryson comes in. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be on my phone. I get my room. Maybe watch a couple movies. Go to bed kind of late. You know.
And then he stayed an hour at a college frat party in Augusta and like was putting in the backyard with some frat bros or something.
After round 3,
something like
no
that.
fucking way, dude.
Yep, they were talking about it on X.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, there you go,
he
dude.
Literally, it's like, dude, like you're playing at the Masters and you're gonna be cocky, be rude.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously.
Did you hear about that guy that? Sorry for my use the bathroom in Race Creek.
Yes, I forgot.
I did not hear that.
I think it wasn't an amateur.
No.
Yeah,
I think it was one of the amateurs. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he literally used the bathroom in Race Creek. I bet you he's gonna get banned from Masters.
That would be kind of wild. I mean, I would imagine that there's some sort of reprimanding, right?
I mean, you wouldn't think that Fred Ridley would be too happy with that.
I don't think so, dude.
No,
you think he was having a couple on the course, maybe?
Could have. But honestly, though, you know, it was disappointing end for Bryson. But if you look at what he's done in the majors recently, take away the Open last year, I mean, he's been in contention. This was the first time in the final round that he really crashed and burned. You know, he just missed out in the playoff with Xander at the U.S. Open. So I think he's going to be a force, you know, next month at Quail Hollow. So it was just disappointing for here, but it doesn't take away my confidence in thinking that he's going to contend and possibly win another major.
It doesn't, but I would imagine most people would imagine he would win already, though. He hasn't won one, so.
You know what I'm happy that didn't make the cut this year?
Win a Masters?
Brooks Koepka. I'm so happy he didn't make the cut.
Oh, no, I was talking about Bryson, but sorry. Oh, what'd you say?
Go ahead, Matthew.
Brooks Koepka did not make the cut this year.
That was bad.
Yeah, you know, and you thought after winning at Oak Hill, he was kind of back, you know, on the scene. You know, the 5-time major champion at this point. But I don't know. I don't know if it's these live events, like it's just not getting him in good shape. But then again, he is Mr. PGA Championship 3-time winner. So would we really be that surprised to see his name lurking next month on a Sunday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Charlotte?
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, golf is great. And I thought it was a great Masters tournament. Obviously, you know, Scotty wasn't exactly lurking.
Sorry, I have to get one jab in.
Lurking.
Great overall weekend. Great weekend. Devils are in the playoffs, the Masters, and the Rangers are done.
Oh.
All right, Matthew. But thank you. Honestly.
All right.
Thank you for the call. I think that was the most in control call we've had from Matthew Ryan.
Yeah, great job. Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
All right, later, dude.
Oh, man. Anyway, you know, back to the Masters, you know, like we said, you know, congrats to Rory, you know, now a 6-time major champion and a career Grand Slam, all of that, all the accolades. And 3 times already he's won on the PGA Tour season already. And here we are in April. So, it seems like he's having a Scotty, you know, circa 2024 season so far. And, you know, I thought too, you know, I know we talked to him a little bit, but Justin Rose, you know, handled the defeat very well. I think he, you know, gave it his all. And he was saying in the post, you know, Masters interview that he's right where exactly he needs to be, fully confident. It justify all the work that he's putting in. And I know, you know, as you get older, you don't have as many of these chances in major championships, but being the back-to-back runner-up, the last 2, I mean, I really am not going to be surprised if he ends up winning one this year. I mean, he seems like he's that close. Anytime you could putt like that too, Tony, in a big spot, I mean, that's always going to give you a chance.
Putt for dough.
Right?
That's what they say, dude.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting too. I feel like a lot of in terms of, I think Rory had, I think, the longest drive of the weekend. I think
370.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. But we saw Bryson a little bit down the stretch. Even in, I think, in round 2 too, they were talking about him like letting up on his drive
using
to be more
wood.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting where obviously, those big drives are becoming a talk. It still is at the end of the day. It's your approach
Short
on
game.
the green. It's your chips.
Yeah.
It's your putts. It's like that's what's going to be winning you these tournaments. Even though, Rory is one of the greater drivers on tour. But still, dude, I mean, obviously it does come down to that.
And I think what else was a surprise when you look at it, though, I mean, he has a solid body of work and was the 2018 champ. But Patrick Reed coming in solo third, 2 shots back, and just had a steady weekend where he really improved every round. I know he matched what he did on Saturday, on Sunday, but he goes 71, 70, 69, 69. You don't think about him much on the Live Tour. But it seems like he's always near the top of the leaderboard of the Augusta. So I think for him, I mean, he has to be happy with this week. Obviously, he wanted to add a second green jacket to the collection, but that was a surprise for me.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you think about Aubert? I know you were kind of high on him coming in. And
yeah, I mean, he was right there. And then after, I don't know if it was Ian Baker Finch or Immelman, somebody said, called him like Ice Aubert or something.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to triple bogey 18. And like I said, I hadn't seen a pro golfer, hit the top of the bunker and have it bounce back. It felt like it was like a round at Gaynor Brennan.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously that was kind of a choke job on 18. I mean, he wasn't going to win the tournament at that point anyway. But I think it's still reaffirmed. I mean, we forget. I mean, this is only his second Masters tournament, Tony.
Yes, no, very true.
He's finished in the top 7 both times. So he's going to be there for years to come. And I think it's going to be more of him being in contention and winning more so than triple bogeying 18. So I don't think you take too much away from him. Obviously, you didn't want it to end that way, but I don't think it takes away what he's done and what he's going to do.
No, yeah, I totally agree there. I just think he's another player. Well, yes, I know he won the Genesis. Is that the Genesis he won?
Yes.
This year, I still think people expected him to win more, to be honest, this season specifically.
Yeah, I mean, so Scotty hasn't won.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, do you think that maybe the expectations of these golfers is becoming too high, that it's like they have a great year, but it's so hard to keep that up?
It's just hard to win. I mean, that's all it is. I don't think it has anything to do with expectations. Like, you could play really well and not win. Look at Justin Rose. What else was he going to do? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's very tough to win, especially win major championships, you know?
Absolutely.
And a guy that nobody even thought about this week, too, Sungjae Im ties for 5th. And, we haven't said his name too much. He hasn't won recently. He was 7 under par. So I think he had a great week. And I know he didn't win, but we saw more of the Xander Schauffele from last year. Maybe this sets up well, for him to defend his title at the PGA next month at Quail Hollow. He finished tied for 8th at 5 under par. Rounds of 73, 69, 70, and 71. So it doesn't seem like he's too far off. And I know you always get riled for a grizzled vet, 49 years young, Zach Johnson, tying for 8th. The 07 champ, Tony, also won at 15 in the Open Championship. I mean, pretty impressive stuff for a guy who's about to be on the Champions Tour. Was the Ryder Cup captain. I mean, a 66 on Saturday. Yeah. 1 under yesterday. I mean, pretty impressive stuff for Zach Johnson.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I think, obviously not off to a great start. I think he shot a 74 right in the first round. But
72, 74 on Friday.
That 66 round 3 was huge. And on a Sunday where a lot of guys were shooting around the 71 range.
Yeah.
He kind of found himself in somewhat of a contention. But yeah, he shot some, had some great shots. You can tell the veteran, the experience coming out for certain moments. But yeah, you gotta love that, the old man on tour.
And then also at 5 under, Jason Day and Corey Connors. Corey Connors a little disappointing on Sunday with the 3 over par. But his history at Augusta has been, pretty phenomenal. Hasn't won much recently, as hasn't Day, but it's just, I think those, anytime you're going to be top 10 of the major, I mean, it's a good performance, and it was huge. And Nance mentioned this at the end of the broadcast yesterday. Harris English and Max Homa, who tied for 12th, get automatic entries into next year's Masters, and specifically Homa He's really fallen off the map. So I thought this was a great performance. I think he was top 10 in Augusta last year. So to get invited back automatically next year, regardless of how he plays the rest of this season, will be big. And who knows? This could be the start of a turnaround for him. And we talk about grizzled vets. Bubba Watson, the two-time champ, getting up there in age as well. And he ties for 14th at 300 par. So that was a surprise for me. He's really struggled on the LIV Tour. And speaking of LIV, John Rahm just making the cut, that putt on 18 on Friday. He was like throwing clubs on Thursday. But I mean, I would think, it's nowhere near winning, but just this is his highest finish since he won at Augusta 2 years ago. Maybe this gets him going a little bit. Just the fact that he was, had a respectable finish for the first time in a while.
I mean, I guess it could. I mean, we'll see what he does back on some of these LIV Tour events coming up. But I mean, ever since he went to LIV, it just he hasn't been the same type of golfer. So not even at LIV. We spoke about it before the Masters.
It was good last year, but this year he's been spotty on LIV. So we'll see what he does next month.
By the way, AJ texted me. He says to remind you that Cumby's coffee is trash.
It is trash. That's why I haven't got it in like a year. And the prices went up too.
Prices went up?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there in a while, but yeah, it sucks, honestly. It just took a little while. Whatever. Speaking of taking a little while, it's been about 10 years. Not 10 years, actually. Excuse me. It's been 8 years that Jordan Spieth has been looking to complete the career Grand Slam. He will have an opportunity to do so at Quail Hollow. Obviously, it's been a while since he won. I think we're working on 4 years. But he also tied with Rahm at 3 under. But that would be would that be one of your biggest surprises in a while if Spieth were to win at Quail Hollow, get the Grand Slam? I mean, just talking about unexpected.
Very unexpected. Like you said, it's been a really long time. Like we've seen this guy, win, let alone win a major, So that would be kind of wild too, seeing two players complete a Grand Slam in the same season. Yeah, that's probably never been done before, right?
I highly doubt it. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
And then Tyrrell Hatton was also tied for 14th. He was in the mix for a little bit. 75 on Saturday took him out of it. Morikawa was disappointing. He had it to 3 under on Thursday. Ends up finishing 3 under for the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see. He hasn't won a major, in 4 years as well. Hideki was all over the map at 2 under. A 79 on Saturday was it for him, even though he shot 66 yesterday. And then really, that's pretty much it. I mean, Neiman had it going a little bit on Thursday. He kind of tapered off. I thought he would finish higher. Hovland, another disappointing finish. I mean, 21st, I mean, it's not terrible, but, he's going to have higher expectations. Justin Thomas tied for 36th as well. And then really, the only other things that stood out to me, was how close, I know we kind of mentioned in the Open, but that Langer and Couples were to, making the cut, especially Langer, that shot on 15, going in the water. I mean, a wedge. I mean, you figured he had it in hand, Tony. And then that putt just to the right on 18. I mean, he was really, playing some solid golf. Same thing with Freddie Couples, but Langer, 41 years, of playing the Masters. I mean, what an icon, the 2-time Masters champ. And Freddie Couples will be back next year. And it's crazy. He's really dialed down. He barely plays any Champions Tour events. It just every year getting prepared for Augusta National. So I'm sure it was disappointing him not making the cut, but he'll give it another go next year as well. So, I mean, I think just like we said, I mean, overall, it was just an outstanding tournament, the wire to wire coverage.
Oh yeah, dude.
The fact that it's so accessible now, I mean, it just makes for a great weekend.
Yeah. I mean, you really, especially with all the breakdowns and the analysis in between rounds. I mean, you can literally watch golf for the entire weekend and not really watch anything else. But yeah, dude, it was crazy. I mean, you mentioned that cut line. You see a lot of players that I would have expected to make the cut. We mentioned Koepka. Even Tony Finau, or Dustin Johnson,
Chris Kirk.
Like it's kind of crazy. Keegan Bradley too. And it's tough, dude. Because again, I mean, not to say that take it away from any other golfers, but it would be nice to see some of those guys in there. Victor was definitely disappointing, dude. Although he was, he was being a good sport about it. I was kind of watching some of the coverage on him, especially on Sunday. I think him and Morikawa were paired up.
Him and Hovland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were having a good time, it seemed, because obviously they were both like kind of on the outside looking in. But it'd be nice to see, those two guys. Like I can see them, like next season being like in a playoff of their own for a major. Especially Morikawa too. Obviously, had a lot of juice coming into this tournament, and I think just fell a little flat, as many golfers did. But hey, man, I mean that's just the course, I guess. But yeah, dude, it was sick.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
Absolutely.
It is sad that it's over.
No, it really is. It really is. And it does. I don't know. I'm guessing he'll just call it, but Michael Bucket was asking who's on the call this weekend. It'll be Harbor Town, which is a great course. I mean, it's just, and it is a signature event, but coming off the Masters, it's tough. So I would imagine Nance would be on the call, for that one as well. Golf Channel will carry on Thursday and Friday, but there's just really like, there's no, I really don't think it exists to have like a perfect tournament to follow up Augusta. I mean, I just don't think there is such thing.
I mean, there's no way. There isn't. What would you do? You can't.
Yeah. It's like almost you need a bye week.
Yeah.
Or an alternate event.
Alternate event.
Like, there wasn't any juice to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's like, it can't be a disappointment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next, or this week, starting Thursday, we will have the RBC Heritage, and
Scotty wants to be kept updated on Nance on the call.
Scotty, won there last year. He'll try to defend his title. Rory not playing in that one. And then you will have the alternate event in Punta Cana that Billy Horschel won, playing opposite that as well. So we'll have 2 PGA Tour events this week. Then the team event at the Zurich Classic of New Orleans on the 24th. The CJ Cup, May 1st, another signature event, May 8th, which is typically at Quail Hollow, but because of the PGA there, it's going to be played at the Philadelphia Cricket Club, the Wissahickon course in Philly. And that'll be played opposite the Myrtle Beach Classic, which made its debut on the PGA Tour schedule last year, and then the PGA Championship, Quail Hollow. Xander looking to go back-to-back, Rory looking to take the first 2 majors of the season. But like we said, I mean, it was outstanding, and I really hope, sure, like I said, nothing will be, Augusta, the Masters, but I really hope we have an outstanding PGA Championship next month.
Yeah, no, I think we will. I'm sure we will, dude. Come on. I mean, it's going to be a great pool of players. It's going to be a high level of play, dude.
The Grand Slams are great.
Like, come on, dude.
I wish there was an answer for the other stuff. Is there just, there's just not going to be. Non-major golf. I mean, it's just, the players is good.
The players is good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's non-major tournaments that are good.
Right, but it's still, are you looking, I mean, you yourself, I mean, you were eating pimento cheese this weekend, Tony. I think if anybody gets it, you do.
Yeah, dude. It was actually funny eating the pimento cheese. I was like, wow, what a fitting time here.
Yeah.
And it was good, dude. Which it was kind of surprising because I feel like the last time I had pimento cheese, which was maybe a couple of years ago, I didn't really like. But maybe that was just the type of pimento cheese, the quality of the pimento cheese. It's kind of funny because Jay and I ordered the pimento cheese mac and cheese. But they fucked it up and just gave us like the order of pimento cheese with crackers and stuff.
I mean, I feel like that's better. Fuck mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is delicious, dude. And I saw someone order it and get it. It looks fucking amazing.
I think I could do lobster mac and cheese.
I know. We go through this every time. You need to have a lobster in it. No, I don't want lobster mac and cheese. Excuse me, my mac and cheese. Yeah, and it all worked up here, right, dude? Because lobster mac and cheese fucking sucks. Let's be real, okay? Because the lobster.
But you like lobster?
Yeah, I like lobster a lot, dude. But I like, give me like a whole lobster or something. Lobster rolls are good, I guess, too.
I feel like lobster rolls are so much better than the whole lobster. Because then I don't. Why am I working? Why am I working to take lobster out of his shell?
I mean, you can get it deshelled.
But it's not as good. It's not as good. Like, make it as good. How about that?
Well, I'm saying, like, in a roll in mac and cheese, you don't want that, dude, because I feel like it gets overcooked and people don't even.
Well, don't overcook it.
Well, obviously, dude, but it's hard to when you're in a steaming pile of mac and cheese, like it gets cooked inside there, and then you get rubbery pieces of lobster. You don't want that, dude.
But tell me though, the baked ziti is not better than mac and cheese.
Yeah, no, it is.
So that's my thing. Why do we need dry mac and cheese?
Well, they didn't have bacon. They didn't have baked ziti at this restaurant.
In general. That's why I just feel like there's no need for mac and cheese.
Why do you have dry mac and cheese? Whose mac and cheese is dry?
I don't know, because essentially you're baking it. I mean, it's overcooked. It's not.
Don't overcook it.
But I want it al dente, Tony.
Oh no, dude.
But I see we had a few more comments here.
Yes, we do here. Let's see what we got going on. Michael here wants to know what you like in your coffee, dude. Since we're on the coffee topic.
Cream and cinnamon. But they don't have cinnamon at Donut Inn. The one mark against Donut Inn, no cinnamon. A little watery.
So what do you do with the no cinnamon then? What do you do?
I mean, I just don't. But I'm saying
Right.
everywhere else,
No substitute.
I would get cinnamon. Yes, because it seems like an easy thing to have, right? I mean,
no, yeah, it does. Especially if you're you're a coffee shop. Like that's not obscure to have cinnamon.
Yeah.
And to give donuts and stuff too. Whatever, dude. Carlton also says easy on the getting up there in age.
Well, I think I was
dudes.
talking about Zach Johnson.
Was it Zach Johnson?
49 years old.
Yeah, maybe.
But how old is Carlton?
I mean, I don't want to like.
I mean, it's not. I'm saying I didn't think he was. He's in his
44.
Oh, okay. I didn't even. Oh, I mean, that's a compliment to him. I didn't think he was in his.
No, I think it looks great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're easing up on the getting up there. In
39, maybe.
Yeah. So
39.
Only a compliment to Carlton.
39, dude.
39.
And then Michael Thiefo says legends, dude. Game winner, he says, at the Heat game yesterday by rookie Wizards.
He said that looked unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Always wanted to check out that arena.
Yeah, dude, it looks sick, dude. Heat check. John Pollock says, "Good morning, fellas. I'm so happy that Rory won yesterday. Good morning, John. We are happy as well, for sure." Michael Buck says, "Cream is the best to put in your coffee," he says. Colin says, "Appreciate you," he says. And then Michael Buck says, "Mac and cheese is goated. I make the best mac and cheese you'll ever have."
I don't know about a Michael Bucket mac and cheese. You know what I mean? In a shape to replicate Jim Nantz's face.
Yeah. How about like in college? You ever do like the Kraft mac and cheese?
That was my least favorite of all time.
Really, dude?
Just thinking about it, like I almost am nauseous.
Really?
It's disgusting.
It's not disgusting, dude.
Absolutely disgusting.
I used to like doing that in college, and I'd chop up a hot dog, put it in there with the mac and cheese too. A little hot sauce, a little pepper.
Gross. But yeah, one thing I was thinking about too, John Pollock was saying, that he's happy that Rory run yesterday. Josh B also as well. He loved the history of the career Grand Slam. Joining the likes of Player and Nicholas and Woods and Hogan.
I mean, it's great. Only sixth player to do so, dude. Like that's very few and far between here, obviously.
And I was just gonna ask too, a couple things here. So first, Spieth. Quail Hollow percentage of winning. Give me something.
I don't know, like 19%.
That's very high.
You think
so?
I was
going to say 0.9, 1.9.
You give him a puncher's chance. I mean, he didn't do terrible. I mean,
think about there's like 150 golfers in the field.
So you think he's not even making the cut?
Professionals.
So he's not even making the cut. Then is what you're saying?
He'll make the cut, but there's a difference between winning and making the cut.
Obviously, percentage to make a cut. Then
50%. I mean, it's pretty high.
That's the flip of the coin, dude. Sounds like he may miss the cut.
Nah. I mean, like I said, I'll be rooting for it. We'll see.
I think he can make a push. Come on. How did he do last year there? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it's rotating. I'd have to look.
No. How do you, like in the tournament though? Like specifically, like.
But you're talking about at Quail Hollow?
No, I was just saying in general because again,
PGA?
it's the same storyline where it's like you're going for the Grand Slam. Like, I mean, how's that pressure on him?
He did make the cut, but he wasn't. He wasn't in
competitive.
Contention. Yeah.
Let's see. Jordan Spieth results. We'll go last year. All right. So last year. Oh, he's cut from the Masters last year. It's not good. Tied 43rd.
43rd.
So it says.
Doesn't have a great history at Quail Hollow.
I was just gonna do that. You're organized by course.
Doesn't even have a top 25 finish.
That's not good.
No.
Why are there 4 Quail Hollow clubs?
I don't know. So you had to. I just searched by the tournament, and it's only 3 times. 2013 even par, tied 32nd, cut in 23, 29th last year. So +2.
Not great, dude.
No. No, but I'd like to see it. And then the other thing I was going to say is, and I had kind of mentioned this leading up to the Masters this week, that, once Rory, finally won that major, that it would just make it so much easier and that there would be a couple more. Do you think it's more likely that than, I know he's obviously at a different point in his career and his health is so much better, but is it more of that where there's going to be more to come? Or do you look at this as more as Tiger in 19 at Augusta?
Well, I don't think Rory's gonna be breaking down or anything. Right. But I wouldn't be surprised if he retires soon, to be honest, dude. I'm not I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't.
Well, he said he's not gonna play the Champions Tour, but I think he's definitely gonna. I think he'll probably honestly golf for another 10 years at least.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I saw some interview where he was talking about wanting to move back to Ireland.
Right, but he could still live in Ireland.
Yes, he can still do that, but. Maybe he does that, but I would imagine the next couple seasons, you're not going to see him in many.
Well, no, I think he's just going to focus on majors and then sprinkle a couple other ones in. He always does play some European Tour events or the DP World Tour.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, but I don't know, man. I think he's going to be I think he wants to relax.
And I don't know if it was in an effort not to seem phony, given everything that happened last year. But were you surprised that there was no mention of Erica McElroy in the post press conference? I know he said, the family, he mentioned Poppy, but were you surprised that there was no, direct mention of his wife? Or do you think it's because he thought he was going to get called out? Or it's just he's tight?
Honestly, he could be tight. I would be tight. I'm not, not for nothing. Because was it the week of the Masters?
Were you talking about when this all happened?
The divorce papers. Was that the Masters or was it the U.S. Open?
No. I think it was before the U.S. Open because it was right after he'd won at Quail Hollow last year. And everyone was like, oh, he didn't mention his wife. It's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Next week.
That's right.
Divorce.
Yeah, dude, I would imagine. I wouldn't think that they have the best standing, right?
You think there's some agreement, they're seeing other people already? It's just for legally type of thing.
I hope
Poppy. That's her name. What do you want me to say?
I hope everything is good, but I don't know, man. It can't be that you don't do that, and it's so fucking public too. It's gonna make it so much worse. Airing your dirty laundry out there. I'm just trying to golf
here. How do you think she was enjoying the day yesterday, Erica?
I guess she was happy, right?
Yeah.
It's money for her,
right?
I guess so.
It's gonna get split eventually, right?
I guess, right? I don't know, man. Yeah. If she has an allowance or what's the deal there? Or...
Prearranged agreement.
I don't know, dude. I really, I don't know. I hate thinking about that.
Yeah,
it can't be good. It can't be good.
No.
Nothing's good there. They're probably just staying together for the kid, dude, and that's it.
But also, I feel like Rory almost doesn't care because he just won the Masters. Grand Slam, and the 10-year drought's over.
So. He's got to feel so good on this Monday morning.
Yeah.
You think he's up yet? He's probably up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cup of coffee.
And he was, I don't know if he's on the plane to Ireland because he said that's where he was going to see his mom and dad. Did you hear him say that?
Yes. Yeah. So maybe he is. So nice flight. Aer Lingus, dude, back to Ireland.
Yeah. So, and I think next year, opening day of the Masters, April 9th. So 5 days? So we are 360 days away, Tony, from those first tee shots at Augusta National. I'm sure Tom Watson will be up there on the first tee. But yeah, once again, a great Masters tournament, and definitely excited for the rest of major championship golf season.
Are you excited?
Oh no, the majors are great because it's all part of history. Wednesday we'll talk some RBC. But if we could go to the world of MLB.
Oh.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game! Out of sight!
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Throw deep to left field. There it goes! See ya!
All right. So, by the way, shout out John Pollock. Right.
Shout out to John Pollock. Yes, this is still the best podcast on YouTube right now. Also, Carlton says that also Bagel King has decent coffee, which
I've never had Bagel King. I know it's in Bridgeport though, right?
There's a couple.
Oh, there is. Okay.
There is a couple, dude. I'm not really sure where, to be honest, but there is one in Bridgeport near Sacred Heart. Yes, it was one of those spots where shoe students would go, but I would stray away from that place, to be honest, dude. I guess their coffee, I remember getting their iced coffee. It was good.
Yeah.
But their sandwiches are lacking. More is to be desired. They're small, dude.
Microwaved fake eggs type of thing.
No. They were fried eggs for sure. They had a grill top, which was great.
Doesn't sound great the way you're talking.
Well, no, because some places don't have grill tops and they do microwave their shit. It's like, what the hell is even
He's
that?
saying Black Rock Turnpike. Bagel King.
That's who the other one is.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know, dude. Because I remember going there. You just go there Sunday, hungover. You go there,
you're hungover.
Sandwich, dude.
It's not gonna taste great.
Are you kidding me, dude? It's just, and you get one. It's like fucking $8 for one.
He says they make it on the griddle,
and it's like
they make it on the griddle.
Yes. You think I was lying? And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of small, and the bagels aren't good, dude. You know what's great?
Great though. It's great. No, they're not good, but it's
no,
great.
I said the flat top. The grill is great, dude. That they have a grill.
Doesn't sound great. Nothing sounds great.
I was going to say, but you know what I would get from there is they used to have like a plethora of cream cheese, all different types of flavors, jalapeno.
Carlton's calling you out. He said being hungover might be the problem.
No. That's definitely not the problem, dude, okay? I'm going to tell you, on Sunday morning, I was hungover, got a bagel in Asbury Park, dude. Jay and I went to this place called Bagel Talk. Like, literally, so freaking good. Sausage, egg, and cheese, egg everything bagel, which is also something for some reason in Connecticut they don't do, egg everything, which is so weird. And the bagel was far superior than any other bagel I've had in Connecticut. So, just can't do it.
And then he says that John Pollock, besides that, Tigers lost yesterday, but they're looking good. And he says he needs to come to New York and test the coffee and the pizza.
Yeah, you certainly do, dude.
Yeah. Connecticut though too. You definitely want to go to Connecticut.
Yeah, if you want to come to Connecticut for pizza too, I guess, dude.
I mean, that's about as light.
No.
That's about as light of a comment that you're going to make.
You should try it. No. I think it's you should try it, dude.
Yeah, it
see for yourself,
outside
dude.
opinion, not a slanted
for
one
yourself, dude.
towards an island or a peninsula.
No, it's a real island. Okay, stop it. Also, John Paul can bring maybe some of his Detroit style pizza. That would be nice, dude.
Yeah, and he says he just had a bagel a couple hours ago. So would you look at that?
I think it's more details there. What kind of bagel? What's on it, dude?
I just say, before we get into the weekend recap, and I have to say, lauding you, Tony, because a lot of times it seems like sometimes these titles, there's a little bias with them. But it was nice that it was just the regular recap, because it used to be a couple of times I didn't notice, and maybe it wasn't on purpose. You could say, I'll believe you. But it would be like, if the Yankees took down 3 Mets, got swept or whatever, it would be MLB weekend recap. But then if the Yankees did bad, it would be, Mets sweep the weekend, Yankees get crushed or something.
I don't know, man.
I was talking to Michael about
Listen, I'm sure that has happened where Yankees get crushed, whatever, but I've definitely put like Mets blow it or something in the title before as well, dude.
Like
Come on. No, it doesn't.
There would be a little emphasis.
No,
but
it
anyway,
doesn't, dude.
Before we get to that, let's do the grid. All right.
Oh, you're the grid first.
Yeah, come on.
All right. Let's focus up here. I still got the menu from Piper's Kilt. Dude.
Wow. Piper's Kilt, Eastchester.
Not gonna lie, but what you said though kind of turned me off a little bit.
What, Piper's Kilt?
Yeah, with the the burger kind of coming apart, dude.
Too much,
dude.
Yeah,
it's tough, dude.
Went with the recommendation.
Also, like, are you gripping this thing hard? Because I've seen some people where they just like and then it falls apart because you're just like.
But it's not. It wasn't because of that.
It wasn't because of that.
Just too much going on.
Too much going on.
Basically, what
too
it was.
much going on. Dude.
All right, so let's just rip this.
This is a good one, dude.
Yeah,
I can.
10-win season Orioles. John Means.
All right, hold on. Let me share it to the stream here. If we start throwing names out there,
you can just get Ernie back into play.
Absolutely, dude. 10-win season. John Means. I got that one. How about this, dude? Braves 10-win season. We do Mike Soroka.
Wow, there we go. And how about this? I'm topping what you're saying right here. The 3 ERA season and the 10-win season. Oliver Perez. Oh.
I spelled the Oliver wrong, huh?
And by the way, John Pollock says bagel with egg, bacon, and cheese and a side of yogurt. Sounds pretty good.
Bang, dude.
That's a great one, Ollie.
0.06 right there, by the way.
6.
Oh, that sounds delicious, dude. Side of yogurt, too. A little health, dude.
Yeah. I'm not a yogurt guy, though, I have to say.
That's too bad. I feel like you would like yogurt, dude. Some of them are sweet and good, no? It's just like the sour taste you don't like?
Yeah, I feel like even the sweet one is like, is it really that good? Like, I don't know.
All right. Hold on. Oh, sorry, not Jordan Spieth. Get out of there.
Okay.
Braves
under 3 in a season for the Cardinals. Chris Carpenter.
That's a good one. Chris Carpenter.
And then under 3 in a season for the Brewers, Ben Sheets.
Nice.
There we go.
I'm pretty sure Mark DeRosa played for the Cardinals. Cards Braves.
Yes. Yep. You're a big Mark DeRosa guy. The pants.
Dude, I mean, I worked MLB Central, dude. It was a great show. One of my favorite shows. It used to be great to work to.
7. No, I bet.
7,
Honestly,
dude.
he seems like a great atmosphere guy.
Yeah, dude. Big D-Row guy. Big D-Row guy.
Big D-Row guy. So I don't know if Sheffield is too
much, you think?
Here.
I would think Hank Aaron's probably too obvious here.
Yeah.
I feel like Sheffield is...
All right, do a Sheffield.
Right?
Yeah.
Who else do you want? Josh Donaldson? Donaldson was with the Brewers
Donaldson.
Yesterday, last year. Josh.
4%.
Okay, 4%.
There we go.
Not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know about these last two are going to be, I mean, for me anyway.
Yeah. The Brewers Orioles, like,
I know, like, what the hell is that?
Weird
dude?
one. Just trying to think about like relief pitchers or starters or outfielders, or guys who played for a long time.
Moises Alou?
No, it's just a weird combination.
Yeah.
You know? Just trying to think here. Did Brendan Ryan play for both shortstop? Or just go Jack Flaherty, right? Cardinals and Orioles.
That's a definite.
Yeah. And then obviously Corbin Burns.
Yeah, but that's going to be like 100%.
I know. But what else do we have, though? That's
nothing.
Ernie selling. Oh! What does he have? Or your
John Pollock says BJ
Surhoff for yes.
Baltimore, Milwaukee.
Yes. John Pollock.
There we go, dude.
We didn't even need the Swami.
Didn't even need the Swami, dude.
47. I mean, really not too bad.
Not
if
bad.
we didn't have that Flaherty thing. I wonder. Okay, so he was the most common.
He was the most common.
Is there any way to access that list? Just curious about that.
For this one, for St. Louis, Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Here we go. Players played for Baltimore, St. Louis.
Go down to this list here. What is this? Anybody that Jeremy? Oh no, that's not Jeremy. That's
Ethan Allen, dude.
Anybody that like we would know?
Larry Bigby.
These seem like a bunch of like old time players.
Yeah, look at the years right now. Alberto Castillo.
I remember Alberto Castillo, but it's like
let's see again. Anything that's like
these all are
Mike DeJean.
Like he was a closer, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Flaherty is like the only like modern day one. I don't even.
There's Jack Flaherty,
from
2023. Preston Guillemette. Like who was that? Darren Holmes,
Orlando Hudson,
Dan Johnson, 2013.
Very odd one.
Very, very odd one.
Mark Leiter's
Julio
father.
Lugo, Josh Lucas.
Julio Lugo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
all right, well, there you go.
It was just kind of a weird category.
Andrew Miller. Tyler O'Neill.
I didn't know he was on the Brewers. He's currently playing for the Orioles.
Currently.
Oh, and then Nelson Cruz, I guess, could have been Baltimore and Milwaukee too, Ernie says. So. But I think that altogether, though, solid. Definitely solid.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you gotta be happy with that.
So speaking of the opposite of solid, tough weekend for the Yankees and got off to about as terrible of a start as you could have gotten. Should there have been a game Friday? Shouldn't there have been? Giants had to play too, but unfortunately, we weren't hitting against Marcus Stroman, who fortunately after this was placed on the injured list. And not fortunate that he's hurt, but fortunate that we don't need to see him pitch. He faces the whole Giants lineup. It gets 2 outs, gives up 4 hits, 5 runs, including a 3-run homer to Jo-Hung Lee, who was the star of the show. 3 homers this weekend, including 2 yesterday. But yeah, they weren't able to bounce back from that. The game only went 6 innings, and the Yankees only got 2 hits. Austin Wells just missed a home run in the, what was that, the second inning, I think? Second inning. But yes, it was an embarrassing performance. Stroman just obviously has not looked good.
He's a starter.
But like I said, he's not going to be in the rotation now. Clark Schmidt is going to start Wednesday, so that kind of lines up pretty good. which lined up to Saturday, which was the only good part of the weekend. You finally had a solid start from a starter not named Max Fried, and that was Will Warren, his second good starting of the year. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and the bats were swinging. 8 runs, 11 hits. And this was against Jordan Hicks, who was decent heading into this game, but they light him up for 7 runs over 4 innings. You look at the synopsis of the scoring. Ben Rice, his 4th home run of the season. And the top of the lineup. The top 4 batters had 7 hits, 5 RBIs. So everybody at the top really hitting. Cody Bellinger struggled a little bit, but had a good game this time out. A triple, 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Paul Goldschmidt's been hot, hitting 358 after this game. And then Jason Dominguez also had 2 hits, which you love to see. So all in all, it was a complete team effort. Devin Williams pitched, didn't blow it. Worked around a hit and a walk though, so it always has to make it interesting. And then Luke Weaver was superb, like he's been all season long. So that set up a rubber match yesterday, which got off to a good start. So you're thinking, okay, the disaster of Friday's behind us. We're feeling good. We score runs in the first and second inning. Have a 3-0 lead. But then Carlos Rodon, who was looking great to start, ended up with 8 strikeouts over 5 2/3, has that inning where he makes that mistake in the 4th and the 6th inning. Fortunately, in the 4th, it was just a solo shot to Lee, second home run of the weekend. But then in the 6th, he gives a 3-run homer. So Yankees trail 4-3. Giants end up scoring a run on an error in the 7th, which really, made it 5-4. And that was the difference because Jazz did homer in the 8th, snapping an 0-for-24 streak, his 5th of the year. But then the Yankees unfortunately go down 1-2-3 against Randy Walker in the 9th to lose 5-4. And I thought, offensively, okay, you would have liked a bit more, but 4 runs, 6 hits. It's not like the worst offensive performance in the world. It's just the fact that Carlos Rodon cannot avoid the long ball. He lets up 2 home runs in this one. He's let up a home run in every start. And this is how you know things aren't going well for you. Through 50 games, he's tied with J.A. Happ for the most home runs allowed. With 51. That's atrocious. He leads the majors in home runs allowed since the start of last season with 36. And it's like the stuff is there, but he cannot avoid leaving the ball over the plate and making the big mistake. And that is not why, you gave him, I think it was 6 years for 162. So that's really hurting him right now. And it's just, it's tough not to be extremely frustrated. Because, besides that opening day start, he's just made the big mistake time and time again. It's costing you games. This is a game you should have won.
Do you know, are these games he's giving up the home runs, are they in Yankee Stadium predominantly?
This year they have.
It seems like it, right? Yeah. That's tough, dude. Obviously you expect a lot more from him. What do you do if he keeps doing this?
So that's the thing. You really can't
do much.
Do anything. Yeah. The ERA is at 5.48 right now. I'm trying to see. I think though his next start at least will be on the road because they're home for 3 with the Royals, and then they go to. Actually, let me just double check this. So they go to actually Tampa, but then that's the thing. So yeah, it will come in that Tampa series. It looks like he'll actually be the second game of the series against Rasmussen, but the configurations are the same exact thing in Tampa, because that's George Steinbrenner Field.
That's right.
So he just has to get it together. He just has to be better. The one thing that we could say is that, we do have Matt Blake, so you would think there's some adjustment he could make. I'm sure, as the the opposite side of the argument would be, well, why hasn't it that happened now? But maybe he just he was given the information and he's not executing. That could be the problem as well. So that just kind of put a damper on the weekend, unfortunately. But it's just the fact is, with Schmidt coming back, that's going to help. But you need the best you can out of Carlos Rodon this year. And I was saying I felt great about Rodon coming into this year because, thought last year was decent. And the pressure would be off because technically he could be, your 4th starter. But with the injuries to Heel, Schmidt, and Cole, that all went out the window. And now there is pressure on Rodon. And I don't know. Is it something like Devin Williams where he needs to earn the beard, Tony? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. No, I definitely think so, man. I mean, it's going to be really tough if he doesn't kind of work out. Like you said, there's never that much you could go in terms of a direction away from Rodon.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think he does figure it out. I mean, I know maybe his Rodon's track record hasn't been exactly great. Obviously, you mentioned with the long ball, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like that those, yes, he gives the home runs, but I feel like a lot of his good starts still give, he would be a first or second inning solo shot, and then he kind of buckles down. Like, if that's just how he plays, I mean, that's fine. If he still ends up giving you 7 with 1 or 2 earned runs, what's the problem there,
But you know what the problem is? The long ball has been accompanied by the walk this year.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like we can try and maybe forget about the long ball, figure out what else is going wrong. Why
12 walks in 23 innings.
That's not good, dude.
Over 2 per 9.
We've seen him sometimes where he comes in too jacked up and the fastball is just uncontrollable. Is that what it is with these starts? Is he just too?
No, I mean 2 walks. That was actually the least amount of walks he had. Yesterday was that leaving that off-speed pitch over the middle of the plate, and it's just when you're ahead in the count, you don't leave balls over the middle of the plate. He's got to locate better.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's just a strategy of then just stick to your fastball? Does he throw a changeup too?
I'd have to go to the fan graphs. For some reason, yeah. I feel like he does. But yeah, I mean, it's just the location. It's got to get better. I'm sure it will be better. But it's just like with Williams. It's just frustrating that you lose these games that you should win early in the season. You know, and I mean, it's just such a different feel coming into this series against Kansas City, which the pitching, I mean, I think, you line up pretty well, other than the fact that Carrasco has to pitch tonight. But you're going against Lugo, I think Bubic and Waka. I mean, those are guys that you could hit for sure. They're not dominant,
I'd like to see pitchers. Lugo's career stats against the Yankees. I would imagine they're pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, it's more of, for me, it's just the fact that he's not overpowering. So that he's not. And I'm sure he had, a good start or two against us last year. And of course, I don't even have that many tabs up, but anytime I have any other file up or anything, it's just it's so slow when I'm looking stuff up. But I was going for the fan graphs.
For Rodon?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So, and pitch type and velo. I feel like they used to not always have this summary bar on the left, which makes it easier. Again, if it ever loads, but so they're saying, fastball, no changeup,
yeah,
okay. Splitter, slider, cutter. Oh no, there is a changeup. Okay, there is a changeup. Yeah,
I feel like if he just sticks to his fastball, changeup, and just figure out just your accuracy, just pick it off the corner of the strike zone with your fastball, and then mixing a changeup to keep your batters honest, and then Rodon can go from there. By the way, Paul Goldschmidt, 11 at-bats against Seth Lugo for a career, batting .636 with 2 homers. So there you go, Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, honestly, dude, bat him leadoff. Get him the most at-bats, dude. Looks like Bellinger does all right against Lugo as well. Career, 7 at-bats, 286, 2 ribbies, and a dinger. So there you go. Your 2 offseason acquisitions could prove helpful in this start against Lugo because, I mean, I would imagine Carrasco gives up a couple.
But you don't think he's due?
Brian.
Better chance, 6 shutout innings or Spieth, 5-shot victory at the PGA.
5-shot victory? I think you're setting the bar a little high there,
it's a
dude.
Question. There's a comparison. There's a parallel.
What was the line you said for Carrasco?
6 shutout innings.
6 shutout innings? That's not going to happen ever.
In Spieth's going to win by 5 at Quail Hollow?
I think there's a better chance for Spieth winning by 5. I honestly do. Carrasco's 6 shutout.
Spieth by 5 though
that's ridiculous.
That's 14. Ernie with a couple here. And John Pollock.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Ernie says, "Effing Stroman, man, he's killing my take this year." LMAO. Then Pollock says, "Tough weekend for the Red Sox." 2, they lost 2 games to the White Sox. LOL, go Tigers. That is good for the Yankees. The Red Sox losing games.
And I was with a Red Sox fan. He was distraught. He's like, let's not talk about it.
As you would be, dude, because the Red Sox were on a little bit of a tear. I feel right. They were scoring some good runs, dude. Not
Cardinals.
Cleveland, the Cardinals, St.
yeah.
Louis. And then Ernie says, I don't think the shit talking from the offseason has proved to be 50-50. The offensive questions we were right, LOL. The pitching questions have proven to be correct, LOL. Yeah, no, I mean, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, obviously, pitching questions are definitely up there for the Yankees rotation. And then Ernie says, I don't like your tone, Tony. Stick to the Queens talk, bucko.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying, dude. I mean, Carrasco, like,
no, Carrasco sucks.
I've seen it, dude. I've seen it before, dude.
Yeah, there's no tone. He's just terrible.
And he is terrible. And I'm sorry, but yeah, your take about Stroman is not looking good. And I mean,
but he's on the injured list, and Clark's coming back, so
that's great, dude. And then and listen, like, I mean, I don't know. Again, seeing Stroman pitch for the Mets, I mean, what his mentality is a problem, dude. Like, the whole "I'm a starter" thing is absolutely ridiculous. Like,
right, just
go where you're needed, dude. You know,
right?
But you don't want to do that, and now like you're eating shit because of it. So right. I mean, yeah, Schmidt's gonna be great, dude.
Yeah, so excited to see him Wednesday. Excited to get freed out there again tomorrow. And I mean, give me 5 innings to her and match what Will Warren did on Saturday, and I think we'll be fine. And Lugo does have good numbers against the Yankees, but most of it has actually been as a reliever. 10 appearances as a reliever, 4 starts, but a 2.55 earned run average. But
you got those 2 players he hasn't faced in the Yankee uniform before who are doing well. Him,
so yeah, I feel good, especially after you're not going to lose 3 straight series here. You're just not going to let it happen. I like who you have pitching tomorrow and Wednesday. So let's go. And it's a shame though, because it's just what a difference. You end up winning yesterday. You're 9-6 instead of 8-7, and you win a series instead of lose a series. It's just a completely different thing. So basically, Rodon, get it together. And I think everything else will fall into place. And Ernie says the league seems pretty split, though. Thankfully, no leaguer division is running away with it. Yes. Even the Dodgers sell down, which is true. Yeah. So exactly. So I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I still the rest of the day is so tough after a loss, especially on the weekend, because during the week at least it's like you just kind of go to bed afterwards. But like yesterday, 1:35 game. But luckily, Augusta kind of distracted me, so I wasn't focused on it. I know Ernie was watching intently as well. And he still says 100 wins, baby. So yeah, let's just win this series. I think we have a chance to sweep this series, but obviously you have to win tonight to do that. So let's do it. And let's score like 5 or 6 runs. I think it's been a little inconsistent. We liked how we looked Saturday. The success off Lugo, which you mentioned. So let's just kind of capitalize on that. And then Ernie says he was as quiet as a church mouse watching Rory. Church moose. Anyway, Tony. I know it was a good weekend for the Mets against the A's.
Yes, the Sacramento A's, dude. Yeah. It's so funny. Ernie says my TV kept telling me to be quiet in my own home, dude.
And John wants to score 20 runs against Milwaukee.
Wow, that's possible, dude. I mean, Milwaukee.
You never know.
You never know, but I mean, their pitching, I guess, is okay. But I mean,
Nestor, the IL.
Come on, dude. Yeah, they're not the 90 win team they were last year, dude.
Right.
If they did get 90, I think they got 90 wins last year, right?
Yes.
I want to say.
Yep. And then Aaron Judge will lead Team USA in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. That was rumored, but that news just came out.
Wow, dude. And then Ernie, by the way, says the caucasity to be shushed in my own house, dude.
And then D-Rel's 93 says, get Beatty off my team.
Which is pretty interesting because I think Beatty had the best game of his year so far. I wouldn't say career. No, not the career. But his year so far yesterday. I guess is what happens when you start someone at their natural position. But in any case, sorry, let's write it down. Church Moose. Career, dude. So Mets take 2 of 3 on the weekend. They lose Saturday, win on Friday, though, which is the first game we'll be recapping here. Griffin Canning getting a start here. Not bad. 5 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks. So not great. And it's kind of funny because the Mets, obviously offense, speaking of, the bats were swinging, they put up a 7 spot here on the A's, 9 hits total as a team. And that did get started off pretty early. Brendan Nimmo's ears must have been ringing on Friday listening to the show because he's the first home run of the game here, his 3rd of the year, possibly 1 of 2 home runs to have on the weekend, by the way. Top of the second, a solo shot puts the Mets up 1-0. And then early on here, J.P. Sears, by the way, pitched for the A's.
Right.
Getting into trouble early, yes. It does settle down, I guess, after the
6
second, I
hits over 4,
suppose. 6 hits over 4 is not great because he was a hit to Acuna. Then Torrens, who had a pretty solid weekend. His bat started, I think, heating up as well. RBI double. Acuna around the bags. First to home for him seems to be a little bit of a theme here, dude.
Yeah.
Which is great. Because using that speed is great, but obviously his problem is that he's just not on base very often, which is whatever, I suppose. But Canning also early on gets into a little bit of trouble. It's 2-0 early. And Duhar does single to right to score Langoliers. And I mean, the A's coming in here, obviously, they're the A's. But I will say, that shortstop we talked about, is it Jake Wilson?
Yes.
Jacob Wilson. I mean, he's definitely, I think, something to keep an eye on, which is interesting. I mean, I think the A's honestly they could be good like in the next 3 years. I mean, if they build a stadium and they have when they do and they actually complete their move, I mean, it's gonna be way more tantalizing, I think, for free agents, for players to go there as an organization. And
it'll be completely different.
It would be totally different. And then right now you have, one of the better closers in the game. And then you got this guy, Jake Wilson, who's starting off to a great season. In any case, though, Mets or the A's split the lead here to 1. But a 5th inning, you love to see. I think Soto had a leadoff hit. And then Alonso doubles to center to score. Soto makes it 3-1. And then the next inning, Alonso sac fly RBI, Marte RBI double, 2 RBI double makes it 6-1. When it rains, it pours. Obviously, at this point, you have Spence in, familiar face for a few of us for sure. And then again, I mean, Canning doesn't really get through the 6th here. Gives up a run in the 6th and a couple hits. Not great. Obviously, the 3 walks you really don't want to have to deal with, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's been someone who obviously first couple starts better than you anticipate, but now he's kind of shaping into that pitcher you kind of thought you would have to deal with. So, I mean, obviously, first game of the series, Mendoza throws the best of the bullpen arms out there, and they get the job done. Garrett, Stanek, AJ Minter, all go for, about 3 innings is what they cover. 1 hit between the 3 of them. Wow. So, I mean, your bullpen, those guys continue to leave where they left off in the postseason, to be honest. And the acquisition of Minter has proven to be very viable, very, very, you're paying dividends here. Problem, though, is a little bit of Diaz, because he comes in here in the 9th. Not good, dude. And this is probably his 3rd appearance, really probably 2nd appearance, to be honest. That's been really not good at all, but does end up, obviously, still getting the win. I mean, it comes in the 9th, 2-run lead, classic leadoff walk. Oh, dude. And it's a 4-pitch walk, dude. Couldn't find the strike zone for 4 pitches. Gets a strikeout, but then walks Soderstrom.
Yes.
Another
Josh
walk,
B.
dude. Yes, Josh B. That was a 5-pitch at bat. You threw 1 4-seamer that was in the zone, which was a strike looking. And then Langoliers doubles to left, scores Butler, Soderstrom to 3rd. Blade, sac fly RBI. All of a sudden, things are getting tense. 1-run lead. He does get Wilson to ground out on a 4-seamer high in the zone. But it's interesting because, I mean, you look at some of the pitches here. I mean, his 4-seamer didn't go above 95, where we're seeing, I guess only once it did. But I don't know, man. I don't know if he was having some control. I mean, obviously he was having control problems, but I mean, I don't know. It's early in the season, I know, too. Closer position, but again, almost like what you said, Devin Williams. Like, if you ended up losing this game because of what you were doing in the stretch of the season, when you do have the gauntlet, of September where you're playing the Braves and you probably have a West Coast trip mixed in there, and obviously the Phillies. I mean, these are games you need to win. So it's like, Diaz better figure it out, dude. And it's going to be, especially because the rest of the bullpen is doing so well, like, you're going to be the problem. I mean, I have, short leash for Diaz this year. Very, very short.
Oh, yeah.
Like, honestly, I wouldn't be, because at this point you can throw Garrett or Stanek in there. Like, they did.
Make him earn it.
They closed games in the playoffs for them.
Yeah.
And Stanek already this year has a save. Has 1 save. He has his first save as the Met this season. So it's like he is someone who can do well in that position. So we're going to move to Saturday here. David Peterson, another great start for Peterson, honestly. This is absolutely phenomenal. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks.
No walks.
No walks. The control,
Yeah.
The off-speed pitches, inducing ground outs. Great defense behind him, which is awesome. Unfortunately, this was the loss. The Mets could not get many hits going. They only 5 hits as a team, and they were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. You did have Nimmo in the 6th inning, solo shot, back-to-back games, back-to-back homers. Again, ears must have been ringing. But unfortunately, the runs given up, which weren't much. Buteau gave up a run. Pearson gave up 2 over 6. That's not unheard of. Those are quality starts. You would have thought against JT Ginn and the boys that they could have gotten something going for the Mets, obviously. Unfortunately, it did come down to, I mentioned that Nimmo solo shot in the 6th. I think you did have a push for some late game hits here by the Mets, which we've seen, the late night Mets come alive before, even last year. But, when you go into the 9th inning, dude, and Mason Miller comes in and he's facing like Taylor, Beatty, Acuna. He's going to make minced meat of at least 2 of those 3 batters. Is Vientos mixed in there? I don't even know, dude. And then you have Torrens mixed in there. It's not great. You look at that 9th inning where Mason Miller comes in and he's absolutely electric. Only 1 batter gave him some problem. And I guess, hold on, where am I? Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, what the hell? This is not even the right game, dude. Mason Miller, yes, dude. So Vientos let off, dude. Vientos grounded the first, 3-pitch at bat. What do you know? And this guy averages 100 miles an hour, like with his pitches, which is ridiculous. So Vientos grounds out, 3-pitch at bat. Beatty strikes out, 3-pitch at bat. Taylor doesn't get a single here. He's a fastball hitter, so he could handle the 102 high in the zone. But then Torrens grounds out to short. That was, I believe, a 2-2 count, it looked like. No, it was a 3-2 count. It was a 3-2 count. So that was tough, dude. There was definitely a fouled off four-seamer that could have been out of the zone. Probably would have worked a walk. All of a sudden, runners first and second, 2 outs. And then you would have gotten Lindor up, I think, after Torrens, right? So, obviously, that's probably what you were really fighting for. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. What are you going to do? Mason Miller, again, is one of the better closers in baseball, dude. The guy literally throwing 103 over the plate. What are you going to do about that? On to Sunday, where the Mets did trounce the A's here. A little homecoming there for, not necessarily homecoming, but, obviously Severino comes in here, the former Met great. He threw a good game, but obviously all eyes were on Kadai Senga. 7 innings pitched, no earned runs. The most innings pitched for a Mets starter so far this season. Mets put up an 8 spot. I'm not going to go too much into this, honestly. A lot of the scoring didn't come till the later part of the game because the A's decided to stop playing defense around the 7th inning, I think it was, or the 8th inning. Literally, and then it just started pouring on. Really embarrassing. Sevy threw well, though. 5 2/3, 1 earned run, 3 walks, but 6 Ks. Did throw over 100 pitches over those 5 2/3 innings. But nonetheless, he pitched all right. Obviously, eyes on Kadai. And then what do you know? The shutout here. AJ Minter, Max Kranick comes in. Back-to-back innings. 1 hit between the 2 of them. No earned runs. No walks between the 2 of them either, which is great. So the bullpen continues to perform, which is great because you have a game today. You are in Minnesota, which is kind of weird, I guess, the quirks of the schedule. But nonetheless, you're in Minnesota here. I believe Clay Holmes is getting the start here. I'm not sure he's pitching for the Twins, to be honest, but Holmes with a 4.3, 4.4 ERA.
For a little more.
Definitely go for a little bit more. Obviously, the highest ERA amongst the starters here for the Mets. Strikeout stuff is there. I think over 3 starts, he has 20 Ks, I want to say, but 10 Ks coming from his last start, but obviously does give up some runs. Joe Ryan.
Quality pitcher there.
Probably their only quality pitcher, I would think, right? I don't know.
I'm trying to think about who else is on that team.
Probably nobody of note. But nonetheless, Mets.
Pablo Lopez is on the IL. Bailey Ober's not bad. And then Paddock and Woods Richardson. Ober is a good pitcher, honestly.
Ober is all right,
he's okay. Ludwig Ober is better at what he does.
Yes,
but doesn't mean that Bailey's not too bad.
No, he's not too bad. But nonetheless, I remember picking up a few times last year.
Hammered.
No. Actually, most of the times he did okay for me. But nonetheless, dude, I mean, the Mets, the bats here, obviously hitting 11 hits yesterday. Hopefully you can take some of those hits and bring them into today. But it's another series at the end of the day that the Mets are trying to win here. As they've been winning their series. I mean, obviously they've been playing really well.
Quirks of the schedule.
Yes, they are playing lesser teams right now.
Yeah.
But what do good teams do against worse teams? They win series. So they're getting the job done. They're doing what is right here. They're not dropping games to Detroit or whatever.
I mean, but you nervous? Well, I mean, Detroit, made the playoffs last year. But are you nervous though once the schedule kind of hardens up like that? It's going to be a little different. You nervous, dude?
Am I nervous? No, but I mean, they just got to tighten it up. I mean, it's like I said, like this is the time for Diaz to figure it out. Because you can't be going to the bottom of the ninth with a 1-run lead against the Phillies in that series that's upcoming and expect to, just breeze through it, They have hitters top to bottom of that lineup that can do some damage. So
in all seriousness, though, it does sound like you're nervous about him, though.
Diaz?
Yeah, his best might be behind him.
No, I never said that, but I'm nervous right now because he's not pitching well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think his best is behind him. He just has to, figure out that location of his fastball. And I don't know what it is. If he does, maybe have to let up to be more accurate. But it seems like he's struggling when it hits 97 and it gets higher up there. And it's like, not for nothing. That's what Stanek throws. Like Stanek could hit 97 and be more accurate right now. So
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, short leash for Diaz. Like you said, especially, when it does tighten up, I think after Minnesota, it may be Phillies. Or maybe Minnesota, then St. Louis, then Phillies. I forget. But in any case, Phillies, that series upcoming is going to be a big test. The big test.
The big or it could be the big blow.
Right, or the big blow. It won't be a big blow. I mean, listen, if you get swept by the Phillies, people are going to be like, oh, my God. It's going to be, oh, wow, well, Phillies are the best team in the league.
But I mean, you know how it is, though. I mean,
it's gonna suck. Obviously, It's like, oh well, that's gonna be a problem because that's the team you're playing in September. There's a series against the Phillies, probably like late August or September, where you're gonna need to win. And obviously that will definitely cause for some tightness for sure. Yeah. But hey, I mean, this is why you have a good test early. I mean, again, like. Nimmo's heating up right now, which is great. Take that into this series. Obviously, Lindor's been hitting great. Alonso's been great. You want some more damage from Soto, but he's been on base, so you take that, obviously.
Is he like the longest home streak of his career?
Is it?
I don't know.
It feels like it,
there,
dude. Right? It must be. And then it's interesting because, yesterday on Sunday, you do have some good hits from a guy called Brett Beatty, and I know, whoever was in the comments, best game of the season, dude. Did have a great situational hit, but some great defense as well at third base. I think first game where we actually saw some great defense. I think back-to-back innings, he started a great double play, picking the ball from his knee, had to dive for the ball, tosses a second. They turned 2 because of it, and he starts one very similar in the second inning as well. So, I mean, obviously having Beatty there at third, he feels more comfortable. He gets a hit, which is like, how often do you see that,
Right.
Something is great, but again, it's those are the guys you're looking to heat up against Philly. You're going to need that. Like you can't have 3 batters batting under 170 here.
Right.
Like that's atrocious, dude. So you got to figure it out. And then Acuna, like I said, isn't hitting well at all. So like your young guys are not doing good, which is exactly what you need to bank on this year to make the playoffs. So hopefully they can come around a little bit. I don't know what the spark they need. But again, I mean, I think this is a good series against the Twins. And again, I mean, you said it. They have good pitchers. Okay, this isn't like you're playing the A's or Miami. Okay, like you're hitting the top of their rotation. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get Joe Ryan.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a good test for you guys going into this series against the Phillies. So this isn't going to be a walk in the park necessarily. You have to earn these wins.
What's the score prediction tonight?
I can see Holmes doing 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Quality start, but obviously not lights out. But again, strikeouts. I mean, we saw him get 10 last outing. I'm looking at definitely, 8 to 10 this outing here. Maybe 1 walk would be great. because look, I mean, Minnesota, Clay Holmes could make mistakes. Minnesota, they do have good hitters of their own as well. Maybe Mets could put a couple on Ryan here, get him out early, go to the bullpen, score 3 off the pen. They win, I don't know, 5-3. How about that?
All right. I'm going to say Yankees 6-3. Getting around the 5 innings, the 3 earned from Carrasco, not 6 shutout innings like we hoped. And I think with 3 long balls, too. It's been a while since we've had a game where we've hit a few home runs. So I think Judge, Jazz, and Wells going deep and good back end of the bullpen. Devin Williams will be his first, perfect inning since he's joined the Yankees. So
very nice.
Let's just start with 1, go from there. Just want to be shaking hands around the pitcher's mound after the game is over tonight. That is for sure. With a game in hand, Tony.
Game in hand. How's your fantasy team been doing?
Terrible this week. Oh
really?
My God. Well, just because I have like a lot of Yankees, so that kind of coincides. That's the risk you take. But it's going to be a good week this week. Not worried about it yet. Josh B., I'm surprised he didn't talk shit accidentally like he always does.
He played you? You played him?
He won like 12-3. I'm surprised he didn't say anything.
Oh, wow.
Maybe,
yeah, me too,
Maybe
dude.
he felt bad, honestly.
He must have. Pity.
Maybe he felt bad. But it's early. But, yeah, it could get late early, so you don't want that to happen.
I'm playing Kev Do this week.
Just take care of business. I'm trying to think who I'm actually playing. I am playing Riley, who is in last right now. So.
I don't think he's been checking his shit, to be honest.
I'm down. And then
I absolutely roped him this week, but I didn't see if he was not starting anything.
Text. Come on. You shouldn't be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
I need to pick up some games, Tony. So shut the fuck up. All right.
I was just saying. I'm
just saying. Dude. I'm just saying.
I think he was in Vegas last week.
Hammered.
Yeah,
Right.
It, dude.
But anyhow, let's just before we wrap up, take a quick trip to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle break. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pasternak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. And a couple John Pollocks here says, you will be fine. My Tigers just beat Minnesota twice, 5-1 today, Mets today. And then he goes, ouch, that feels like a shot because you said the thing about the Tigers. And then he says, shout out to Western Michigan, national champions in college hockey. So
that was a huge win over Boston College, I believe.
Boston College in the Frozen Four. So Rangers over the weekend officially eliminated. We knew that going into the weekend that was going to be the case. So they do get to play out the string tonight. Sam Rosen, swan song at Amerant Bank Arena. And I guess, if they'll have him, he's going to do something for MSG or NHL Network or maybe both next year. I would imagine like in the studio, special event type of thing. But this will be his last game as a Rangers play-by-play. Kind of crazy. And, just will cap out this disappointing season for the Rangers. A huge offseason. The direction of the franchise in limbo. And you would imagine some sweeping changes.
Yeah, sweeping changes. You mentioned it. I mean, GM, coach, players, Sam, all going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is, speaking of sweeping changes, I mean, the voice of the New York Rangers will be a little bit different next year. But obviously, you want to focus on those offseason moves. I mean, it is still crazy to me that, I really thought things would work out with Laviolette.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm sure you could put a certain amount on the players themselves. But listen, at the end of the year, it did seem like Laviolette was a little checked out.
I mean, it wouldn't. It seemed like he lost the locker room like the first month of the season.
Yeah, dude. And it's so interesting because this is a guy who's been to the Cup Finals 3 times in his career with 3 different teams.
All right.
So, I mean, you would have thought if anyone could do it, it would be him coming in here with this roster, with the mentality, the coaching that he has under his belt. Obviously was only successful once, but still it brought 3 different teams to the Cup Final. I mean, that's impressive. I don't know many coaches who have done that before.
But I think this shows why he's had so many stops in his career. It's just the message gets stale, and this one got extra stale, extra quick.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we know about the turnover of coaches in the NHL, but it's just like, I mean, you still would have thought that the message would have worked at least with the squad that he had, you know?
Yeah.
I do think maybe looking a little bit deeper into the players that we have is maybe something that is useful. I'd love to see what type of exit interview that like Laviolette has, with ownership in the sense of like why he thought things went wrong. I'd love to hear his opinion about like how the players played, like really, because you got to put some blame on them.
I mean, it's all really. It just the coach is like an aide, but honestly, I think we saw this year. A lot of these Ranger players are pretty weak-minded. I think honestly, because they weren't tough enough to get through whatever it was, whatever the affairs or whatever happened. You know what I mean? It's like they just couldn't put it aside. So kind of fuck them. Honestly,
really. I mean, we saw some horrible play.
Yeah.
From some of these guys on off the bench, whatever, dude. It's just not. You definitely feel bad for someone like Igor. You even feel bad for Laviolette, to be honest, because it does put a blemish on his career, and it is. Again, if you want to put all the blame on the players, I mean, it does suck for him, dude. And it should be interesting to see where he goes, because I would imagine somebody else can pick him up. And who knows what he'll do. I mean, again, this guy took, the Predators to the Cup final.
Maybe he goes to the Bruins.
I don't know. I mean, again, I guess he could. They could. But I don't know. I mean, the Bruins are in a little bit of a bind of their own.
At least they have Pasternak.
At least they have a player like that, I suppose. I mean, he is great, but I mean, they got a lot of things to worry about. Obviously, their tender is good, but like losing Marchand this year, why isn't your talent developed? And they're another team. Win the President's Trophy, fire your coach. It's they're another team that was just right there, and then they just can't follow it up. So I mean, it should be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think for me, I mentioned Laviolette having the tenure, around the NHL that he has as a coach, the success. With getting teams to the Cup final. I don't know, dude. I mean, I would say get someone who hasn't really coached the NHL again, some fresh blood, dude. Because, again, we've tried to go with these coaches that have been around for a while. That doesn't really necessarily always mean success with a certain team. And I think it's safe to say at this point, I mean, the rebuild that has happened starting a few years ago, I mean, is unsuccessful,
Yeah.
And it was close.
But close isn't good enough.
Close is not good enough, dude. And this year was so far off the mark that you really have to question what's going on internally. And it is a sense of almost like get Laviolette out there and get Drury out there. I'd love to see what happens to Drury this offseason.
He's going to get fired.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get fired. But I also, again, I think it's a 50-50 shot that he keeps his job at this point, to be honest. You can point out good moves. You can point out bad takes that he had. And that is being nice. That is being professional, because that guy gave a lot of his, life and his career to the Rangers. So, I guess you try to give him benefit of the doubt. You have given him the benefit of the doubt, and he hasn't exactly worked out. So, like I said, I still think it's a flip of the coin whether he keeps his job. But
somebody said, I mean, I don't know how reliable this source is, but it's like the Hockey News saying Chris Drury's job is reportedly safe.
Really? From Hockey News?
Yeah. Oh, but also 1 minute ago, per Molly Walker, do a little breaking news if we still have it, Tony.
Always got it.
Per your girl, Molly Walker, Kenny Albert will replace Sam Rosen as the new voice of the New York Rangers. The Post has learned Joe Micheletti will return to the broadcast crew, and Alex Faust will fill in for Albert when he's unavailable. Per Molly Walker, Kenny Albert filling some big shoes with Sam Rosen headed into retirement. Kenny on the call, the accent, the busy schedule. That's why they're talking about Faust filling in. Who is Faust?
You got me, dude.
Alex Faust.
Alex. It's freaking hot in here, dude.
You're right.
Outside, dude. Not good.
Yeah.
Alex Faust. Let's see, Alex Faust.
Apple TV?
Yeah, for Major League Baseball, Apple TV. Interesting.
But it seems like he's more of a TNT guy.
Yeah, college football, college basketball,
no
Fox
Ranger
Sports,
Association is what I'm getting.
MLB, National League Hockey for TNT. Yeah. He is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I guess that's good.
I mean, I think you kind of had to go with Kenny, right? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. Went to Northeastern. Boston boy.
Yeah.
From Brooklyn to Boston. I don't really like that, dude. Yeah, fuck Northeastern, dude. Calling games for NBC Sports, Nesson, ESPN, Hockey East games, I guess. He was hired to call college basketball games by Nesson and worked his way up to the lead play-by-play announcer for their coverage of the Hockey East games. So there we go, dude.
So we expected it, but get the official announcement. I'm sure they waited until now. Wanted to make this year about Rosen, and hopefully, he can walk off. It'd be nice if it was like an overtime win or something, just to send him into retirement. We'll see. And we do have
probably gonna fucking lose
the old Monday 6-pack though. So why not strike up the chord, Tony? It is the Monday edition of the Frozen Frenzy, and yes, a bittersweet one that is brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm.
Another bittersweet one brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm. So let's get going here. You mentioned the Monday 5-pack, dude. It is a 6-pack here. Montreal, let's start with them. 7 p.m. The Canadiens clamoring still for a playoff spot. I believe it's them and Columbus it comes down to, which is pretty wild here. Go Blue Jackets, if you ask me. Gino on the edge of his seat tonight as the Canadiens take on the Chicago Blackhawks, which you probably could not ask for a better team to face, especially when it's in the Bell Center. And Chicago is coming to you because they're 8-26-5 here on the road, which is why they're plus 240 on the money line. Over under is 6.5. Chicago did beat Montreal in Chicago early January, but obviously it's been a long season since then for both teams. What do you got, dude?
Give me Montreal. By the way, Rangers have another game left on the schedule. A little math error. So there's going to be
2 more.
Their last game of the season will be at home against Tampa on Thursday, last day of the NHL regular season. And Montreal has 2 games left as well. They win this one. Montembeault shut out Blackhawks. Sorry, Bedard traded. Maybe the Rangers. That'd be great. I'm sure that's another player that Tony would hate to see with the Rangers. Anyway,
wait, what? No,
3-0 Canadiens in the under. You would just say it would never happen, but it might happen because he's tight. But Canadiens in the under.
Yes, dude. Yeah, both Connors to the Rangers offseason.
Bedard to the Rangers probably, in your mind, less crazy than Connor
McDavid. I mean, I guess so.
Right,
I mean,
right?
no, that would
Yes.
yes.
He
He definitely doesn't want to be there. Definitely does not want to be there. You can tell in his face, dude. But Chicago probably, I don't know, dude. Chicago's, they're not going to let him go.
Don't think about it. Would you give up Perreault right now for Bedard?
No. Absolutely not, dude. But stop that right now. No, I would. Bedard isn't even that, he's not even that phenomenal, dude. Everyone relax. Everybody relax. Already, it's the
speechless here.
It's the fucking first goal of his career. Wow,
Speechless.
dude, on the road to Gretzky's record. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Montreal, the Canadiens will get a dub here at home. I know they're working on back-to-back losses, having trouble going through their fellow countrymen, Ottawa and Toronto. But I think it stops here in terms of the losses. Canadiens 6 spot easily. Blackhawks put up 1. Sure, Bedard maybe scores. Whoa.
Can't wait to
Montreal
see him
in the over, dude. No, I'd love for him to be in New York. Yes.
Great.
But would I trade Perreault? Probably not, dude.
That's crazy.
Why would we do that? Why would
Chicago?
Chicago wouldn't even do that?
But
It's
you're
not
talking-
even real. It's not
But you're
real.
talking about, Bedard not, being, accomplished yet. I mean, Perreault hasn't even scored yet.
But he's our prospect. He's highly touted.
but
Why would we trade him away right now for Bedard?
This is the prospect hugging.
No, this isn't this is it doesn't matter, dude, because why would you trade that away?
Okay.
He's younger and
right.
could be better. Bedard isn't a superstar right now.
All right.
I'd rather have Celebrini, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Next game here now, all right? Let's go to Detroit. John Pollock, the Red Wings.
Probably needs a hug.
Oh, my God, dude. They're going to be playing Dallas at Little Caesars Arena, dude. Maybe it needed a new name for that arena. That's what they need, I think. Over under 6.5. Detroit's at even here. Obviously, Detroit outside looking in. Dallas, very interesting here. Obviously, they're making the playoffs. They're fine. But they're on a 5-game losing streak. But they're clinched in. Could be one of those scenarios here. Is Detroit going to win?
Yeah. Just for Johnny. He says, don't even bother. But I think they do it anyway. 3-2, overtime. Lucas Raymond, game winner. Wings in the under.
They also called the Blackhawk upset against Montreal. That would be wild. But in any case, dudes, I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars snapping their losing streak here. I know maybe they're playing a little bit low key, whatever. I'm sorry, but Detroit just hasn't been great. I know they won 3 of the last 5. But Tampa in OT, tough win. But I would imagine the wind's out of their sails right now. Give me Dallas. I'll say 2-1. Keep it nice and neat. Dallas and the under. Let's see. What was my next game here? We're going to our third game only. Oh, of course, dude. Let's go to Florida, dude. As the Rangers take on the Panthers. Rangers plus 140, playing for nothing, over under 5.5. Rangers losing 4 of their last 5 games. I wonder why they're missing the playoffs. Panthers, 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't Rosen's last game, so I think it's a shit show then. I'm going to say Panthers 9-3. Laviolette, maybe they go interim coach for the last game, honestly. So embarrassed.
No way.
Dolan tight, the MSG bankruptcy. Panthers in the over.
MSG bankruptcy, dude. I would say Panthers in the over. Panthers win 5-3. Rah, dude. Let's go last 3 games halfway through. Speaking of a team like the Predators, they're playing the Utah Hockey Club, a game that doesn't matter. 8 p.m. Utah minus 170. The over-under, Brian, is going to be at 6.5. What do you got for these two teams?
Utah. I'm going to say Veggie with the shutout here. 3-0. Keller, all the goals, get him to 30 and 88 points on the season. Utah.
Wow.
The under.
All right, so I would also hammer Utah, I guess. Nashville obviously sucks. Utah looking for their first win against Nashville. Pretty interesting here. They lost in November, lost early, 4 days ago, actually. 4-3 in a shootout. So I think they're looking for revenge. They have the taste for blood here in Utah. In Utah. Let me say Utah. I would say Utah. In regulation here, 3-2. Preds go down. So the Hockey Club and the under. Next game here, 10 p.m. Edmonton, Connor McDavid and the Oilers take on the L.A. Kings, baby. The Kings, not a great record on the road. We know that, but still a great team nonetheless. They're minus 105 here. Over-under is 5.5. The Kings lead the regular season series against this team 2-1. They just shut out the Oilers, actually, about a week ago. 3-0.
A week ago.
About a week ago. And you want to look at the standings right now. Edmonton does have one more game played in LA, but they are still playing for the 2-3 spot out of the Pacific. The home ice advantage here. Kings have a 2-point lead. So
speaking of home ice, that serves tonight. Oilers 4-2 against the Kings. Very mediocre on the road, and you're discounting that. Connor McDavid gets his 100th point of the year with his 74th assist. And I think the Oilers win 5-2. Give me the Oilers in the over.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. The one loss against the Oilers was in Edmonton this year. Obviously, this game is the last and final game of the series. But the Kings do stifle the Oilers, it seems. Playing just your classic defense here. Obviously, having guys like Drew Doughty really hammering certain players, protecting the blue line. I say Kings squeak this one out 2-1 in regulation. Give me Byfield with the goal in the second. Kevin Fiala with a third period goal. McDavid maybe gets a goal of his own, but nonetheless, Kings and the under, Brian. Next game, last game here, the Sharks take on the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously here, Brian, 2 teams eliminated. Okay, so it doesn't really matter for anything what happens here. Canucks minus 300. Obviously, Celebrini trying to come in for San Jose, make some damage. Over under 5.5. What do you got?
Celebrini, let's go. Sharks, come on. But yeah, I'm going to say they pull it. Good value on the plus 250. Celebrini, 2 goals, 2 assists, 5-4 Sharks overtime. Celebrini, the game winner. Sharks in the over.
Sharks, losers of 9 in a row. I feel like that's the 3rd time this season they've lost 9 in a row,
Probably.
To be honest, dude. Will it be 10? I don't know. I don't think so. Vancouver sucks, to be honest, too. Give me San Jose, Celebrini, trade for him. All right. San Jose 3. I guess Vancouver 1. San Jose in the under.
Just like that. Monday edition, Frozen Frenzy, stretch run, NHL. Regular season ends Thursday. NBA play-in starts tomorrow. Knicks playing the Pistons first round. Mixed opinions on that. Some confident Knicks fans just in that series.
Not Michael Theophil.
You got some other ones that say they might be in trouble. Detroit, young, up and coming. We'll sprinkle it in. More juice for the PGA. We already know. But to say, a great Monday edition here John Pollock on the wheel says, don't even bother. I'm a salty octopus. I'm glad it's baseball season in the NBA playoffs coming up soon because I can't even watch hockey without getting salty. Detroit in 5, he says. So I think they definitely have a chance. I think the Knicks are a better team, but we'll see if the Pistons are up for the task. And Ernie also says Lakers in 5. So Ernie's sticking with us for the hockey season. Got to give him credit there. And he says Knicks bumped round 1. So agreeing with Michael. And then John Pollock says, come get some smoke.
Bang!
But that being said, great episode today. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives of the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay and Costume.
That's
the
right.
merch at DowntimeTV.com. Michael Fieldville says Pistons in 6. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Mets.
And we will see you
Mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.